Number 6,
Number 6.
Tennessee Titans. And I see you got the Detroit Lions.
Yep.
Pete Skoronski went finally, number 11.
Good old Pete.
Good old Pete. Love the guy. Didn't want him on the Bears. Love the guy, though. And I think it's only thing I wish they would have done differently, and I think you can agree with this also, should have traded up a little bit to get Levis. Should have got him in the first round. Get that fifth-year option on him.
Yeah, I definitely think that was a little bit of a mistake. I would have liked to see them get the fifth round or the fifth-year option, only because they have other quarterbacks on the roster, right? They have Tannehill. It's obvious that they want to move away from Tannehill, and so they got Malik Willis last year.
Willis is the answer.
Yeah, they got Malik last year. Now you got Will Levis. Like, neither of them have fifth-year options. What are we doing here, you know?
Yeah. So Will Levis, I honestly see him having a Josh Allen type career. I think the first year or two he's gonna suck, and I don't think that's his fault. It's just Tennessee is kind of besides Derrick Henry, it's kind of a mess right now. Like, they're gonna go into rebuild mode sooner or later. It's not looking good. I think you filled some of the gaps with Tyjae Spears, because if Henry doesn't get traded and he sticks around. He's been injured the last couple years. How is he going to hold out? You know, those... I think they were, They were leg injuries, too, right?
Yeah.
It's not good. Josh Weil, though, I think he fell. I liked him as a tight end. I think he should have been taken a little earlier. But it's you filled some gaps on the hole. You know, you plugged the boat a little bit so it doesn't sink yet. Yeah. I think it's a great team draft for them. Again, they didn't get the best players. I really look forward to seeing how Skoronski's going to play. Because I want Skoronski to make me eat my words. I want him to prove that he was better than Darnell Wright. You know, prove that he can play tackle. Because right now he's kind of just he's kind of a Swiss Army knife on the line besides center. You know, where do you put him? He was great at he played tackle in college, I believe, right? He was great at tackle in college, but he's just a little undersized. And you have the what the hell's his name for the Chargers?
I did this last fucking episode.
Yeah, you did it last time. I told you who it was. Now I can't think of it.
Yeah.
It's
There's tackle.
He's
Slater. Rashawn Slater.
Rashawn Slater. There you go. Rashawn Slater. He came out saying everyone was saying he was too small too. And he's doing great.
Yeah, he turned out to be pretty good.
Chargers are kind of just a whole shit show right now in games and their decisions that they do. But yeah. And also you throw in there Jalen Duncan. Because you can never have enough offensive line help. Colton Dole, you're just taking a 7th round wide receiver on a whim. He'll probably make the practice squad. That's probably it.
Yeah, practice squad, special teams. I've got Detroit at 6. I know they got a lot of flack for when they took their players, and I don't disagree. Right, I think it was early to take Jahmyr Gibbs. I think it was early to take Jack Campbell, but they had conviction. Right, they scouted the players, they did the work, they liked the guys, and I think at the end of the day, they're going to have good careers. Right. Jahmyr Gibbs, I liked, for the Bears. I thought he reminded me a lot of Alvin Kamara. So I think he was a really, really good player. I think they just reached in the first round there. I also love Jack Campbell. I mean, Iowa linebackers are studs, right?
Always.
So I think that those are good players, and they're going to be good players. It was just rich for, how the board was falling, I think. Sam Laporta, great tight end. I think he's going to be a stud as well. Yeah. Yep. And I love the Hendon Hooker pick. I think Hendon Hooker was maybe a top 3 quarterback talent-wise in this draft. And he got a lot of flack for, being 25 and having a lot of experience at Tennessee. But I don't think that that's all a bad thing. So let him sit behind Goff. And obviously, this is probably going to be Goff's last year. I think Hendon Hooker's going to come in. He's going to lead that team. So the Lions are going to be a little scary. For us fans in the NFC North, I think we can definitely tame the Lions, but it'll be a fun one.
I think it's pretty soon the division's gonna be led by the Lions and the Bears.
Yeah.
I believe it's what's gonna be. Packers are on the downfall finally. Vikings, got to get a quarterback.
Yep.
Kirk's a little old. My only issue I have with the Lions, which is why I couldn't put them on here, was again they reached for Jahmyr Gibbs, and while we were doing the live reaction to this, it was they had the. Did they have the 6th pick? Is that what they had?
Yeah, they had 6. Yeah.
They had the 6th pick, and I think wholeheartedly they were taking Devin Witherspoon. He went right before. Then they moved back. And I think, didn't another cornerback get taken right then, too, at 11?
Christian Gonzalez.
No, he went later. Christian Gonzalez went later.
Yeah, I think he did go later. I don't think another corner went because it was Paris Johnson.
Oh, Pete went to 11. I can see him right there.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I know they were high on Jahmyr Gibbs. I think you could have traded back a little bit, maybe get a next year's 4th, and you still could have got Jahmyr Gibbs. Maybe next year's 5th, if you're feeling lucky. Other than that, though, as an Iowa native from college, I love my Iowa boys. They always do great.
I mean, they churn out linebackers and tight ends.
Oh,
offensive linemen too.
It's tight end you at this point.
Yep. You're gonna see some familiar faces here. I've got the Bears at 7.
I do not, because I put them where they belonged in the first spot. Because I'm a wholehearted Bears fan and I support what they did for the team. Unlike some people here that thought that other.
I support what they did for the team. All right, I just don't support. The players in the spots. The BPA didn't feel like it.
So I got the Giants
just didn't
here.
sit right with me.
They took Deontay Banks first round. I think that's a great pick. Great
Good
pick.
corner, yeah.
Great corner. I even love more that they got center John Michael Schmitz. I wanted him for the Bears. I really wanted them to go for him. They didn't do it. I really wish we would have taken. Don't get me wrong. I love Gervin Dexter Sr. I think he's going to do good. I love Tyreek Stevenson. I think they're going to do good. I probably would have traded Gervin Dexter Sr. for John Michael Schmitz, though. I believe.
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong. Jalen Hyatt, the wide receiver, I think he's going to do great. I think he's going to fit the scheme very well over there.
Yep.
He's going to fit the scheme. Eric Gray, the running back out of Oklahoma. Oklahoma sends out great players. You got to get someone to back up Saquon because last year was his first year, or I think first or second year where he didn't get injured. He's been injured every year, and he's on the franchise tag right now. He's worth a lot of money. You got to have someone that could cover the bases if he's not there because he's either leaving or he might get injured. I don't see him staying around in New York, especially after Daniel Jones has got that contract. Because I think that was one of the most overpriced contracts for a mediocre quarterback. I don't think he deserved it at all.
I don't disagree.
Daniel Jones is not the answer for New York. And if you're
I
a
don't
New York
know if
fan,
Daniel Jones is it.
If you're a New York fan, I think he is. Tell me why he is. Because almost everyone I've talked to, no one thinks Daniel Jones is that good. No one does. And he ruined Eli Manning's record. Terrible guy. Absolutely terrible.
That was the coach. The Iron Man record. That was the coach.
Nope.
Daniel Jones is just
Daniel
doing
Jones
his job.
said, "Sir, no, I don't want to do this. Eli deserves his record. Let him finish the year. That's what you should have done. Be a team player." But I think they got a steal out of Jordan Riley, at tackle. I think he's gonna do great. I hope he gets to see the field. He's probably gonna start out as a 3rd or 4th string. But if he eventually moves up the line and you put him in with who the hell is their tackle right now? Didn't he?
I don't know.
He just got. Is it Dexter Lawrence? That who it is?
Oh, the D tackle. Yes.
Yes, Dexter Lawrence. You put him up there with Dexter Lawrence. I don't know. Do they run a 4-3 or 3-4?
Pretty certain it's a 4-3.
I thought it was 2. You put him up there with Dexter Lawrence. I think they're going to do great. I think he's going to feed off him because Dexter Lawrence just got a big ass contract, and he makes people
Yeah.
around him look great.
Yep.
So now tell me why the Bears did not deserve to be in the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 positions. Please explain that to me.
I like I said, I disagree with the BPA, right? I think that there were better players on the board in round 2. I don't get me wrong, I like Tyreek Stevenson. I think he's scrappy. I think he's instinctual. I don't know if he necessarily fits our scheme, right? We run more of a zone scheme. He's really great in press man, but we'll see. We'll see what happens there. I'm actually a big fan of Terrell Smith, who we got in the 5th round. I think he might actually overtake Tyreek Stevenson in camp. So we'll see about that. But it really, for me, it was just about the value at the spots that we were picking, right? I think that there were better players. I think that we could have addressed edge at some point here if we were drafting for need. And I would have liked to see that. I'm not upset with the draft. I just don't think we have any studs, right? You look at, for example, the Giants, their top 3 picks are very, very good, right? We had 4 picks in the first 3 rounds, and we're only really excited about the first one. And even then, not everybody agrees that Darnell Wright was the best tackle in the draft, right? I personally think that PJJ might be better. I really like Darnell Wright, but well, it's a wait and see type of thing. He obviously struggled in the run, and we're doing everything that we can to protect Fields, which I think is the right call. He's a mauler in the pass game. But again, that's the only person, that's the only player that you're really excited about in the top 3 rounds. You just look next door, look at New York here. John Michael Schmitz, that would have been great. You just said you would have traded, our DT for him. Jalen Hyatt, I think, is a great pick. Need, maybe not, but great pick. And I mean, honestly, I think Tyler Scott for the Bears, though, I really, really like him.
Oh, yeah.
I think he is a better route runner than Mooney coming out of college. I think he's been a better route runner, and he's got speed, man. He will take the top off the defense. So I'm sure that we're going to see him.
He's a younger Velus Jones.
I think and less expensive because we got him in the 5th. In the 4th. But I think definitely that the Bears draft has been good, just not great, right? And that's why they land at 7 for me.
You're missing the biggest reason why they should be at 1.
Yeah.
Tyreek Stevenson, Terrell Smith. You know what that means? Kendall Vildor will never see the field again. Never again.
Kendall, you're a great guy, I'm sure.
No,
make your money,
he's
buddy.
Terrible.
But not
Get
in Chicago.
Get out of here. I've seen you too many times get killed.
Oh, man.
No, I'm done. I will not live with that anymore. On to the next one before my heart rate gets too high thinking about Kendall Vildor blowing games for us. Number 8.
And you know what you're going to see? You're going to see a little 1-2 action. Right. You're going to see the Giants at 8.
Hold on. That's not right.
Why the fuck is that not right? Technical difficulties. I do have the Giants at 8, so I'll go ahead and talk about them again because I think, again, their first 3 picks were fantastic. I like Jalen Hyatt a lot. And I think there we go. All right. I like Jalen Hyatt a lot. I think that they're going to do really, really good things. Even though it is Daniel Jones, I think that he's a stud, and he's another speedster. Deonte Banks was a great DB. John Michael Schmitz, awesome center. I wanted him for the Bears. You really can't go wrong with the first 3 picks, and that's going to land you in the top 10 every time.
Absolutely. I believe it's probably, I'm going out on a limb on this one. Number 1 defensive tackle is Jalen Carter. Without a doubt. Mm-hmm. I think number 2 is Brian Brees. I was really hoping he'd fall. I was really praying on it. It didn't happen. I would have loved him for the Bears. I
Yeah.
think the Saints got an absolute stud with him.
Yeah. I mean, I know on boards it was him and Kalijah Cansey out of Pitt. I don't disagree though. I think he's definitely really good.
Yeah, absolutely. Pairing him with Cam Jordan is going to be crazy. See how he plays off the other guy. Also went to Clemson, and you know what they say. SEC schools.
Yep.
SEC schools. Isaiah Foskey. I believe he fell a little bit. I think he could have been taken earlier. I think he's going to be a dominant edge because you gotta get ready now. The defensive line for the Saints, it's getting a little old now. You know.
Yeah, it once was good.
It was good, but they're getting old. And Cam Jordan ain't getting any younger.
They traded a lot of pieces away as well. They lost the might do it again. They lost the guy that's like 6'8" to the Bengals.
Yeah,
he's giant.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
He's giant. Bengals to the end. Who do we got? It's not BJ Hill. Thank you very much. I'm gonna do this every time. I think just for fun. Trey Hendrickson. They lost him a few years ago. He was a stud. So you got to replace him at some point. I think that they do a really good job of team building over in New Orleans. I think that's just a well-run team. I think Breezy was maybe a reach in my opinion, though.
I don't think so. I think they got him good. He could have been taken a little later, but if you need the player, you go for him.
Yeah.
You go for him unless you could trade back a little bit to get him, like the Bears. Only knock I got in this draft is I think Kendre Miller, he went a little too early for me.
Right.
I think he was a projected 4th rounder, I believe. A little too early. And you take quarterback Jake Haener.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know who that is. No idea.
I do, and actually, I'm a big fan of Haener. People had him up there with either Haener or Hooker, Hendon Hooker. So they had him up there. There were a few people that really, really liked Haener. I'm one of them. I like his game. And so we'll see kind of, what comes of him. But I wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden a 4th round pick is playing good football for the Saints. I also like A.T. Perry out of Wake Forest. I think he's going to be a good player as well.
I do agree with A.T. Perry. I would have rather that the Saints ended up with Tanner McKee than Jake Haener. I think Tanner McKee would have fit this offense perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
He would have been great. And the Eagles took him in the 6th. So you could have gotten someone else. Maybe get another pick back there so you could keep A.T. Perry too. But I think Tanner McKee would have been a great backup for this team.
Number 9.
The Bears just really don't want to leave. Bears really are just sticking around.
Either way, I got the Raiders. I think that so as we go down on the board here, we got 10 teams. They got to get, worse. One's got to be worse than the one before it. And like I said, with number 8, I think the Giants really, hit the nail on the head with the first 3 picks. And I think the Raiders hit the nail on the head with the first 2 picks. So I think that the Raiders were definitely a team that is deserving of top 10. Maybe just not, any higher than that. Number 9, I think I'm pretty comfortable with it. Tyree Wilson, good player. We'll see about the medical because I think he's got some medical concerns.
He's got 2 screws in his ankle, I believe. So,
yeah, we'll see how that works out. And then Michael Mayer, he was projected to go in the 1st. He got him in the 2nd. It's a steal in my books.
Thought he was going to go to the Cowboys.
Yep.
But no.
We all thought he was going to go to the Cowboys.
Someone else wants the Cowboys that we'll touch on later.
Yep. You'll see the Cowboys at some other point.
So the Buccaneers. all around, they're gonna suck. First of all, they lost the GOAT. They're gonna suck. They got a great draft though. Again, not even talking about the draft here. They brought in Baker Mayfield. It's another team kind of like the Titans, plugging the holes and just trying to stop from sinking. But this team is gonna suck very soon. First thing I gotta touch on though, some great names they took in this draft. You got your boy Yaya. I don't even Servokia? I don't know. I didn't do my research on Servokia.
Your guess is as good as mine, but he's Sir in the name. I mean, that's pretty good. And his last name is Dennis. I mean, do you think people just call him Sir Dennis? Like,
that's what I would call him. But anyway, Kalijah Kancey, great pick for them. It's what they need.
Yeah.
And you're putting him next to Vita Vea.
Yeah.
He's gonna be a stud. I believe you were the one that actually went in and told me about Kalijah Kancey compared to Aaron Donald.
Compared to Aaron Donald, not just because he's out of Pitt, they have a similar play style, similar body type. Obviously, Aaron Donald is one of a kind. By no means am I saying that Kalijah Kancey is Aaron Donald, but they have a lot of similarities coming out of college, right? Aaron Donald perfected his craft beyond belief, but Kalijah Kancey, I'm really high on. I think Kalijah Kancey is a great player, which is why I don't necessarily think that you're completely right saying that the Saints got the second best DT in the draft. I think Kalijah Kancey was it.
That's fair. Cody Mausch. Is that how we say his name? Cody Mausch?
Cody Mausch. That's what I'm going to go with.
That's what we a long time ago.
We did our research on this one.
We did our research on this name a couple months ago.
Yeah.
He's up there as a top guard. It's going to be great. I think they probably should have gone with a tackle instead. Maybe Cody Mausch could play tackle because you got Tristan Wirfs on one side.
Yeah.
Been absolutely great. You did need a guard though because you're losing a lot of your line. They're getting old now.
Yeah.
So you see how that goes. Yaya Diaby. You're losing a lot of defense. This is due to age and just leaving because you no longer have the Tom Brady effect. You don't have people wanting to come there, no matter how bad or good you are, because you have Tom Brady and he takes his pay cut. So it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a tough road for the Bucs. Yeah. All in all, I think they did great with their draft and plugging the holes. And I think if you give them 4 to 5 years, and you bring in a couple more draft classes, they could do great. But right now, it's just plugging holes with this team, and I'm expecting maybe 5 to 6 wins. Maybe if you're lucky. Talk
about another all-time name. We got Payne Durham. Payne, he's bringing the pain.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty good name.
That is a pretty good name. So now we come down to number 10. Number 10 in the
number 10.
In the
See why we do
drafts.
top threes? I mean, this is why we do top threes, right? Like, this is a long ass list. 10?
Number 10 though. I have Pittsburgh Steelers.
Some familiar faces here, yep.
I don't disagree. I think the Steelers had a great draft, as you touched on earlier. With almost all their picks. I think Joey Porter fell. I think Broderick Jones is going to fit them well because you got to protect Tiny Hands Kenny Pickett back there. I think Jones is great. Don't get me wrong. I think Darnell Wright was better. I think Paris Johnson was better. I think Pete, if Pete could play tackle, he's better. I just think Pete being able to play guard and tackle, or at least guard, I think makes him a better player. And he's from Chicago, so I might have a little bias on there. Went to Northwestern.
All right, fair enough.
But Broderick Jones is right up there as a great tackle too. So many mock drafts had the Bears getting Broderick Jones. I didn't really want him. I get he's a Georgia player. I didn't really want him.
Yeah.
But all the other players you've already talked about, and I can't really add anything to that. I think it's just they had a good draft. I think the other teams had a better draft as a whole for their team. The Steelers may have gotten better players for their team. Don't get me wrong. But I think the way I was doing my draft was looking at what team got helped out the most.
Yeah.
And that's why I put the Steelers at 10. Better than 22 other teams.
Yep.
But they're 10 for me.
Yeah. I mean, we just talked about New Orleans. I think they had, once again, a good draft. They definitely got a couple of starters. When you do that, you definitely have a top 10 draft. The reason I put them in my top 10 is definitely for the steals they got late round. I'm a big Hayner fan. I'm a big A.T. Perry fan. I think that this is a well-run team. I think they're going to do the right things with these players, and I think they're going to have starters at the end of the day with, fourth, fifth, sixth round picks. That's impressive, and I think that the Saints deserve top 10 for that. So
Now, before we finish off our top 10 here, I know you were struggling with filling in your 10th spot. You were talking about a few different teams. I believe one of them you talked about also was the Bucks, right?
You're talking about Bucks were
just outside looking in.
Yep.
And this is So
yeah, I also had the Cardinals. Surprisingly enough,
Cardinals were nowhere near my list.
I think I had them as an outside looking in because, again, I'm high on Paris Johnson Jr. I think he's going to be a very good player. I think in my books, he was the top tackle. And so when you go and get the top player at a position in the draft, I think you're, darn close to a top 10. They only had one really good player, I think, when I was looking over the draft. So that's why they didn't make it, but honorable mention for sure.
Yeah, I'll get into it in a minute when we get to our next part here.